Our last visit in Orlando was about the United Muslim Foundation. We had a chance to visit an event by the foundation, as well as sitting down and speaking to the people working there to ask them what the foundation did and how they contributed to it.
We have three main objectives as an organization, which are to promote unity, education, and charity. So we try and focus on all of those three things, but the main way that we want to do that is by working on charity events. So kind of by doing that, if we're working with other Muslims, we're promoting unity at the same time, and of course doing da'wah, because we serve the entire local population. So our main focus and belief is that if we're working to serve the community, that's a form of da'wah in and of itself. So we kind of hit all three objectives at once by focusing on that. I'm one of the directors of United Muslim Foundation, and I serve as the director of education. So that means that I'm mostly the one who focuses on, first of all, trying to get the newsletters out so people know what's going on. But also just working with events that try and educate society as more of their focus, things such as an event that we recently had with the MSA at UCF here, one of the universities, that had lectures talking about women in Islam and kind of tried to educate the people, the students, whoever came into the session about the contributions that Muslims have made to science. So things like that. We also had an event at a church recently that was a month-long series that they did, just talking about different aspects of Islam. So that kind of education base. I think Orlando, Florida, and just Florida in general is a really important place for us to be, because I'm sure everybody watching the show knows, or watching your channel knows, about things that have happened here. You mentioned earlier the case about the sister who was asked to take off her hijab at Disney. We have the instance with Pastor Terry Jones in Gainesville wanting to burn the Holy Quran. We have a number of instances where there have been bomb threats at mosques in the state of Florida. So, I mean, obviously there's things that happen around the world and around the country, but I kind of feel like Florida is a hub for anti-Muslim sentiment, at least at the moment. And so having the kinds of events that we have, having the education, and like I keep saying, just the charity to kind of get the truth about Muslims out there, who we really are and what we stand for, is really important, specifically in the area that we're focusing on.
My goal is to go out there and find, in fact right now I'm doing two projects. In the summertime, we have a Seminole High School here, where the children they're homeless children. During the school time, they get food in the school, but during the summer times, we don't know where they eat. So this is one project that I'm going after, to see where those kids and who is feeding them, where are they eating, breakfast or lunch or dinner, and that's my next project. My another project is going to orphanage and see if they're doing okay. And I do go to some orphanage and some place where their kids are there, and give whatever I can, help out if they need anything. They need school items, books, and I know food. There are a lot of people who will help out, but there are other things that they also need moral supports and stuff like that. People think that, oh, how come they're not working and not trying to get, they can get a job and they don't have to be fed, but you don't know. You can't judge this. You don't know what they're going through, or what's happening out there in their life. We cannot judge that. When we see somebody's asking for it or needing it, I think it's our duty as a human being. I think there is a reason why we are created in this world. There's a reason why God has put us in this world, not to just do our own stuff, but to help out.
We also spoke with Naushad Verji, the treasurer and a board member of the United Muslim Foundation. I asked him what his foundation was doing to help Muslims fight the prejudice of Islamophobia, and how the community had reacted to these efforts.
What we do is we try to clear the misconceptions about Islam first and foremost. We try to explain the perspective, the Muslim perspective, on different events, different things that are going on. People like Terry Jones believe that Islam is out there to promote violence. And the fact of the matter is, you can find more verses in the Bible about violence and committing acts of violence than you can in the Quran. And it's easy to take any passages out of the Bible out of context. We could do the same thing if we wanted to. However, our position is we're not going to stoop to that level. We're going to try and explain who we are, what we believe, because we have nothing to hide. We're Muslims and we're Americans. And as such, we have freedom of religion just like everybody else. And we're out there practicing our religion, and that is the best form of da'wah that I know of. Just going out and working together with churches and synagogues like we normally do. We just go out to an event together. And this gives us the opportunity to really get to know people outside of the mosque and let them know us. And we get invited to many different events as a result of that as well, because a lot of our Christian and Jewish friends are actually quite surprised to see that, you know, we actually do have a lot in common. And yes, we are Muslims, but we're also Americans, and we want to make our contribution to society. We want to help people in need. We have a stake in America as well. And we have all the same issues as anybody else. Just like your average American, we worry about paying the bills every day. We have to go to work. We have kids to put in school. We have all the same issues. And generally, there's a fear of the unknown. When people don't know something, they tend to have this fear. Now, you hear about 9/11, you hear about Muslims and terrorism. And so people who have no exposure to Muslims at all can't help but have this perspective that, you know, are they out there to kill us? So by being a good Muslim and a good neighbor and not hiding, because after 9/11 I know many Muslims felt like we needed to hide. At United Muslim Foundation we took the opposite perspective. And we even named the organization United Muslim Foundation because we weren't going to hide the fact that we're Muslims, and we're still going to show up at all of those events. We're still going to be active in the community, and people are going to see that Muslims are making a positive impact on society. All the way down from the homeless people that we meet, who we talk to, and who even ask us about our religion, all the way up to the highest levels of government. We've met with President Jimmy Carter and his wife Rosalind, and we discussed this issue. We talked about Islam, and we talked about United Muslim Foundation, and I felt he was pretty impressed and very encouraging as well, encouraging the work that we're doing. We've talked to a lot of politicians. We've worked with the U.S. State Department very closely. We've done a lot of work at different levels of government because we have nothing to hide as Muslims. And a lot of people, even at the higher levels of government, there's actually, to my own surprise, you know, I'm very surprised at how little they know about Islam. And it's up to us to fill that gap of knowledge about what we believe in and who we really are as Muslims. I think that in every community there are a lot of different types of people. There are some who feel that it's better to try to keep a low profile, and that's fine. You know, there are others who want to go out and make an impact and are looking for a venue to do so. And a lot of those kind of people are attracted to the United Muslim Foundation. You know, the masjids in America and everywhere serve a very important role, and that role is to have a place for Muslims to congregate, to offer services to the Muslim community, to pray together, to listen to great speakers, and to learn. And that's a very important role in our society. We need organizations like United Muslim Foundation to work with people outside of the mosque, to serve a different function, to clear misconceptions about Islam, to promote unity between all of the different masjids that we have in all of the cities across the country. If we don't clear these misconceptions about Islam, we're leaving it to the media to do so. And that's not a very attractive proposition.
The next day we had the chance to have a taste of what kind of work the organization does. And thankfully our taste was a literal as well as a metaphorical experience, since the event was a soup kitchen. Afterwards I asked Sister Masooma Verji, the wife of Naushad, to give us an overview of the event that had just taken place.
We got here at 9 a.m. this morning, and it was just a 2-hour shift, but it was very intense. Alhamdulillah, we had probably about 20 volunteers this morning. We started up with just scrambling the eggs and you know, tossing the pancakes, and cutting bagels up and, you know, making up these trays to give out to the hungry people. We have the shelter that you see behind us. It's called Rescue Outreach Mission, and we work with them. They actually host the men, so there's a separate kitchen in there. And then behind us, there is a shelter for abused women. So there's children and women in the other shelters. So we generally use the women cook in the shelter for the abused women, and we start feeding them first. And meanwhile, our male volunteers, they set up out here. We always have donations, stuff from the community that people bring in, anything from clothes, toys, Tupperware, you name it. And mashallah, it's amazing how quickly these things go, because a lot of people in this neighborhood too, just around, walking around there, it's a low-income neighborhood, so they benefit a lot from these items. And so the gentlemen come out from that, the shelter out there, and they pretty much congregate out here. Sometimes they need shirts, and they tell us that they need suits and things like that. So we market a lot on Facebook, and we put out the needs. So we do this monthly, and then we just get out the food and bring everything, our volunteers, and mashallah, it's a big success. It's amazing because there's been a lot of weddings recently, and so there was a wedding party here today, and they wanted this to be part of the events of the wedding. So it was just a nice way for them to really feel part of giving back, and making it something that they do to initiate the wedding ceremony. So it was a really nice thing, and what we do here is we not just feed the people, but we actually interact with them. So we talk to them, about what their needs are, what's brought them here. In that way, we're able to, identify their needs better and able to help them more directly. And even if nothing else, just the fact that there's someone that cares for them, that's out here, talking to them about, their life and their situation, it's very helpful. This is a UMF project. It's called UMF Hunger Team. And we are also affiliated with Project Downtown Orlando, which is a big organization of young Muslims that feed in the downtown area bi-weekly. So, between the two of us, I would say that, we're impacting local Sanford and Orlando Central. And currently there's actually, a situation with the city of Orlando where they are limiting how many outdoor feedings you can have and where you can have it, and there's a certain restrictions. So we're actually part of a peaceful process of negotiation with them on being able to meet the needs of the homeless people here in Orlando. So just as Muslims being a part of all of this, it's not so much that we're out there to show who we are and what we do. It's the little things. It's every individual going out there and being a part of this process. I think it speaks volumes. It speaks more probably than even more than being an organization.
I'm the founder of United Muslim Foundation, and I also served as the executive director for about 7 years. It's an organization that promotes unity, education, and charity, and we've been serving mainly in the Orlando and Pennsylvania areas of North America for all this time.
Can you specifically tell us about your role within the wider Muslim community, specifically the organizations that are working in the United States?
Okay. United Muslim Foundation, our strength is networking, and what we pride ourselves on is really that unity aspect, because without the unity we wouldn't be able to achieve as much charity and as much da'wah as possible to show people how we are in fact working together for peaceful portrayal of our religion and to really give back to the community. As such, we work with a lot of different organizations, both Shia and Sunni, all the way from MPAC and CARE to the World Federation and NASIMCO, so and everything in between. There's a lot of different small and large various organizations, as well as mosques and non-profits that we work with, both Muslim and non-Muslim as well. I think it's important for people as individuals to realize that they have a very important role, even if they're not part of an organization. I think that's really crucial. But I also believe that as an organization, it's very important to exist and work together within a group framework, because that way Muslims feel it's probably a great launching point for Muslims to be able to start off within an organization and get their feet wet into social work and working with with interfaith as well as intrafaith, but then also they can take it from there and go individually within their own communities and various places where work isn't being done, where they can see gaps and they can work within there as well. So in that sense, I would say that while it's very important for organizations to exist, like United Muslim Foundation, and for the, very much in favor of many different smaller organizations, because I think that way the smaller an organization is, the more efficient they are. There's less bureaucracy taking place, and there's more action, because a lot of times organizations have a lot of meetings and lectures, and there's a lot of talk and not as much action. With UMF, we're all about, we have an idea, we put it into action right away, and we just want to keep going. And so alhamdulillah, in that sense, we achieve a lot.
What's your vision within the UMF? Where do you want to take this organization in the future? How far can you push it?
UMF has a lot of potential, and I believe it's a very grassroots organization. It's something where anyone who has the vision, the same vision as United Muslim Foundations, which is to promote unity, working together with Shias and Sunnis and all the different sects, and with other non-profits towards good causes, charitable causes, and to promote a positive image of Islam. Anyone having this kind of view is able to start a chapter where they are. So we've had a lot of interest from Canada, from England, and California. But what we've tried to do is really build up our foundation here in Florida and in Pennsylvania, where we've been running for many years now. And once we've established that foundation completely, we would definitely like to see it taken to the next level.